Hello and welcome to the West Yorkshire Football Show. It's our New Year roundup as we cast our eye across the region and to see how each of our clubs are getting on. Please do remember to smash a like on the video and subscribe for more content on our teams across West Yorkshire. I'm Stephen Brown and with me is Chris Bell. Chris, how are we doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Happy New Year and all that.
Yeah, Happy New Year. What have you made? 2023 then comes to an end for our region generally, would you say, mate?
Yeah, I think for some sides, looking at Huddersfield, they'll probably be quite glad to see the back of 2023. I think there's certainly going to be optimism for other clubs in our region, though. Your boys aren't doing too badly in the grand scheme of things, are you? I mean, you've got rid of Rooney already, so...
I know, yeah, but pretty bad year as a Leeds fan, but yeah, he's finished not too badly, I suppose, so can't complain. Okay, well, we're going to bring the guys in now, starting with our resident Huddersfield Town Terrier himself. His bark is worse than his bite. It's Stephen Downs. Good evening, my friend.
Hello. You all right?
Happy New Year. How are we doing?
Happy New Year. Not bad, not bad.
Yeah. Full of enthusiasm as always there, Steve. Lovely to see. We've also got Jason Stings Like a Bee Booker on, our Leeds United fan. It should be said also employee of Leeds United as well, which is extra special. I don't think we've actually mentioned it, have we, on the show so far, Jason? But
no, we haven't, mate. We haven't. It's,
are you allowed to tell us what you're doing?
I am. It's obviously not first team level yet. Hopefully one day. You never know. That's the aspirations. But going forward, I will be working for Leeds United on a non-contract basis, looking after the recruitment from ages 7 through to 14. So yeah, I'm dead excited, looking forward to it. It's an opportunity that I've kind of hoped for a long time that had come up just within professional football in general, and for it to come up and at Leeds is extra special for me personally. So yeah, mate, I'm buzzing. Yeah. Thank you.
Fantastic. Up next, we've also got Mr. 35F2 himself. It's Gaz Walker, our resident Bradford City supporter. Gaz, how are we doing, mate?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Happy New Year.
Yeah, how are we feeling about things so far going into 2024, Gaz?
Yeah, reasonably optimistic for me, to be honest. Not normally that I'm not optimistic, but yeah, I feel all right at the moment. Let's you never know what's going to happen. Every day is a new day, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, indeed. And rounding us off as well is our non-league genius and long-suffering Bradford Park Avenue fan. It is Lewis Sale. Lewis, how are we doing, mate?
Not bad, guys. How are you?
All good, all good. I think we're trying to get done before the darts, aren't we? Because it's got everyone's attention, hasn't it? When does it actually start this evening?
I think the coverage is at 7:30. Yeah, and they're coming at 8.
Right. Okay. Me and Jason, I think we're rooting for the other guy, aren't we? Not the young kid.
Big Leeds fan, isn't it?
United versus Man United going on, isn't it? So
as if you don't want the fairy tale story.
No fairy tale matching on together.
Oh, I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Oh, come on. I bet if you were a Town fan, you'd be exactly the same.
No, I wouldn't, because I'm neutral.
Yeah.
I have no effect on the darts.
Oh, you would, Steve. God.
That's got to be Downs' darts nickname, hasn't it? Steve the Terrier Downs.
Yeah, 100%.
No,
there you go. It's
the
just in the bag,
skeptical
isn't it?
Steve Downs. That's what it has to be. A
Come
blind
on then,
man
Steve.
walking.
Let's start with you then, Steve. Huddersfield Town, difficult year for yourselves. A bad loss. I mean, a loss against Leicester 4-1. I mean, it's always going to be tricky against the Foxes, who are just riding so high in the league. But what did you make of the game, mate? And how are you feeling about things going into the new year?
Yeah, 2023 is a year to forget if you're a Town fan. We've been through 3 crap managers, 1 decent manager, 28 million crap players. So yeah, 2023 was a fantastic year. Hopefully 2024 is going to be a bit better. It's been a difficult... I don't know if it's been a difficult period, really, over Christmas. It's been a semi-all-right one, to be honest. And, you know, we expected to lose to Leicester, like everybody does. Well, except for Leeds, probably. And, you know, we had an unlucky loss against Middlesbrough. Not that Jay will agree with me on that one, as we've all seen in the chat. And a decent couple of points apart from that as well. So I was happy, with the 3-0 win over Blackburn. That was a fantastic result. Couldn't back it up against Middlesbrough, but as I say, I thought we were unlucky. And then Leicester, we got destroyed. But, I expected that. Look at what they have and look at what we have. We had a bench full of, kids that wouldn't make it at Bradford Park Avenue, really. Or, a League Two striker that's 6'9". So, yeah, difficult month, but glad it's over. We've strappled through to January, and let's hope that we've got some pre-January sales for players.
Yeah, what do you think is going to happen in January then? Are you hearing much through the grapevine of links, that kind of thing, or is it pretty quiet?
Not many rumours, but there are two not confirmed, but the two pretty reliable sources of information that are saying that we're going to have a young Chelsea loanee, Matos, on loan. A very interesting kid who's come through the Chelsea Academy, started off at Norwich, then went through to the Chelsea Academy and has sort of been on Chelsea's bench for a good part of the last part of the season. So, obviously there's big hopes for him at Chelsea, and I think we've had previously very good links to them. So they're trusting us with another one of their youngsters, which is lovely. And then we've also got another player coming in apparently. Now I need to just get his name up because it's not an easy one to say. It's a lad that was originally at Brighton, but he didn't actually play a game. He's then gone to Espanyol, and he's ended up in the Finnish league. He scored 18 goals out of the last 24 games in the Finnish league. Now, I don't know what the standard the Finnish league is, but his name is Bojan Radulovic. I don't know if anybody, Chris probably will know him off Football Manager, I'm guessing. So he might be able to give me a bit more insight. And Jay obviously might know him from his scouting network. I don't know. But I don't know much about either of them. Hopefully they're going to be good. One's a striker. Bojan's a striker, 6'3", and the young kid from Chelsea, he can play either central midfield or on the wing apparently. So yeah, listen, we need players. It was getting to the point where I was about to ask Gaz if he wanted to come and play centre back for us, to be honest. So yeah,
he's scraping the barrel with my knees and my weight.
Well, same for me, mate, but needs must at the moment.
Hey, I heard that you nearly got called up to the squad GB. You can't be that bad.
Yeah, well, that was a long time ago, though. That was over 10 years ago. So my right knee's got a bit dodgy then. But yeah, you never know. You never know, guys. I'm always up for pulling the town shirt on, but hopefully we'll have a few more skilled players than myself in January.
Yeah, Kevin Nagel, if you're watching, just give us a call, mate. This is how you get hold of him, believe me.
Yeah. Well, he's he boots on the ground, as in his statement before Christmas. I think I went through it with Chris one evening on the podcast, and he's arriving supposedly tomorrow. So it will be very interesting to see what the month of January brings from our point of view. He will be evaluating all parts of the club, apparently. So.
What about Darren Moore then? Just in terms of, obviously, it looks like he might get this transfer window to kind of put a marker on the team, etc. How do you see that one panning out for Darren?
Yeah, listen, if he's, it seems like he's going to be given the window, so that's, I think everybody is well versed of my opinions of whether he should be managing us. But he's going to manage us, so we've got to get behind him. He showed against Blackburn, if we actually go at teams in this league, and we've got, our first 11 back, that we can have a bit of a go and beat people in this division when they're having an off day. So why not? It's the games that were before that were very, very frustrating. And he's got a big month coming up in January. He's got Plymouth. We've got Sheffield Wednesday at the end of January, start of Feb. So he's got a big month ahead of him with games that we actually really, really need to win, because after that we come into a very strong lot of fixtures again. Man City this Saturday, that's a write-off. If I was Darren Moore, I'd play literally every kid possible. and just say, look, lads, go and have a good time at Man City. It's a once in a lifetime game for you. Get some experience. If you get beat 20-0, you get beat 20-0, but it's not a reflection on you, lads. It's just giving you an experience that you probably won't have very often in your lives. So yeah.
Is it on the telly? Is it on TV?
It's on BBC iPlayer, 2:00 Sunday afternoon.
God,
I shall be having a whiskey definitely to drown out the thoughts of by the second half.
I don't normally show murder shows, do they? Sunday afternoon blind.
No, they don't. You know, it's
should be on after Watershed.
Yeah. Kevin, thanks for your comment, mate. Steve, do you think Huddersfield will avoid the drop?
That's like asking. That's basically like asking, will Bradford Park Avenue be in the Premier League in the next 10 years? Nobody actually knows, do they? You know. What do you mean? Well, you don't know. Lou might win the lottery next week, pump 40 million in right now, and get them promoted 5 times in a row. You never know. It's unlikely, but you never know. To answer Kevin's question, I don't know, mate. Like Sheffield Wednesday are very, you know, they're coming up on the rails. Rotherham are about as good as a flat pancake. QPR are up and down. They've been through a good spell, but you know it looks like that's dying down a little bit. So it's come a bit congested at the bottom. Wayne Rooney's been sacked at Birmingham now, which is a devastating act. I really wanted him to see out the season, to be honest. So you know it's an unpredictable league. Is the Championship? We might get a few players now in January, and you never know. This if we get this whatever his name is, Bojan. I'm going to call him Bojan. If we get this Bojan who's 6'3", he might score 20 goals in next half of the season. You just don't know. So yeah, hopefully we stay up. I think you know nobody wants to go down, do they? We'd really love to stay in the Championship again for next season, but it's definitely going to be tough.
Yeah, indeed. Counterparts in the Championship, Jason. Obviously, we're looking at the other end of the table. Good win to get us back on track against Birmingham. Not completely perfect. What's that, sorry?
Just rub it in. Oh, yeah, look at the other end of the table.
Yeah, it's all right, Brownie, don't worry. Yeah, it's all right. I'm not that bothered anyway. I've got used to watching your and Jay's smug faces on this podcast.
Hey, you should have seen us a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, a couple of weeks ago.
I'm looking forward to hopefully meeting Jay after the Plymouth game if he's able to, and have a drink with him, and probably sit with him for 3 hours, and he can wax lyrical about Leeds' 2002 team, and you know send me into any. And probably after we've been beaten 4-0 by Plymouth, so it'd be nice.
Exactly.
Anyway, not that I'm negative, you know what I mean?
No, of course, absolutely not.
Can't wait to get onto Bradford Park Avenue and see what Lou has to say. That'll cheer me up a bit.
Anyway, so Jason, Leeds, you know, we're thereabouts. It's not been perfect, but what are your thoughts going into 2024 then with how things are looking?
I mean, the other day was a must-win game, wasn't it? For us on the back of 2 really poor, not just results but performances as well. But I said this to you in the review: anybody that finishes below Birmingham is going to go down. Especially that version of Birmingham, they were horrendous. I still think this is the case. They're the worst team that we've seen at Ellen Road this season, trumping Huddersfield's performance that they put on at Ellen Road. I thought they were horrific. But I do think a lot of it is down to the tactical structure that Rooney was giving him, and hence he's paid with his job, hasn't he? So, you know, individually they have some talented players, but my word was that performance bad at the weekend from Birmingham.
Maybe Rooney's son is the one they should have employed.
Wow, that voice recording, that voice note.
Do you think Mr. Rooney was not very happy with his son that evening?
He's just written him out the will, I think, hasn't he? For that,
yeah, calling the keeper fat and his 2 centre backs crap.
It just shows you, though, doesn't it, that these people that are obviously making big executive decisions in these football clubs, some of them just don't have a clue. And you know, some of the decisions that they make. I mean, we all could see, anybody that knew football knew that Rooney was going to be a terrible appointment. He'd done a terrible job in America. He'd done a terrible job at Derby under some difficult circumstances, sure, but that squad should never have been in the position that he ended up putting them in. It was just a terrible appointment. I mean, they could end up making it worse now by either going for Frank Lampard or Jesse Marsh, which would be hilarious.
Imagine if they went for Lampard. Imagine.
It'd be hilarious after what they've gone through.
I cannot wait for Jesse Marsh to get the Birmingham job. Soar into the playoff place at the end of the season and beat Leeds over 2 legs.
Not a chance.
Hey, Chris.
There's not a chance.
You're talking about dreams for me. That's dreams.
Not a chance. So yeah, I think the result and the performance at the weekend has to be taken with a little bit of perspective because of what we were playing against. It felt like they I mean, I don't know if the down tools or it was just tactically they were that bad, but it was a poor team that we were playing against. But yeah, there were some good signs, mate. I think Gio playing in the 10 and showing some of the other options that we have available to us. And I can't believe how busy the noises have been around transfers. Given that, we're only a few days into January and Kinnear and the club had come out a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and said, January we're going to be quite quiet for us. We've got a couple of loan spots that we're probably going to fill. I have a feeling we're going to see 3, 4, 5 outgoing and maybe even 3, 4, 5 incoming.
Yeah. It certainly seems that way. Rumours about Ayling, Cooper, all sorts going off, isn't there, at the minute? Do you think what's the priority position for you? Do you think that we've got to sort out?
I mean, it's ever evolving, isn't it? Because it depends on who goes out. I do think that, I mean, we've said it time and time again, the left back and the number 10 spots are absolutely key for me. I've got my reservations around Firpo, but one thing that I will say with what Firpo did show at the weekend was the fact that having somebody that can comfortably play with his left foot going forward down that side makes a massive difference, especially to the way that Farke plays with his wingers. So I would love to see a left back in. I still think the 10's massively important. It allows Gio to go out and play out on the wing or play more direct up front. And it just gives us another option because right now that is the one position that we physically don't have. We don't have an out-and-out 10 in the whole squad. There isn't one. There's makeshift people that play in that position or in that role, but they're not out-and-out 10s. Rutter's not an out-and-out 10. He's got, abilities and whatnot that he can bring to the position, but for me, he's not an out-and-out 10.
No. It's the FA Cup this weekend. You worried? I mean, normally we don't do very well, do we, in the FA Cup? Let's be honest. I can't remember the last time we actually advanced to like the 4th round. It's been a while, hasn't it? But how are you bothered? Really? Is it just a chance for the squad players to get some minutes? Do you think?
I think it's important that we go and we beat a League One team. If I'm honest, regardless of the team that we put out, because I still think it creates a momentum. I don't think it's good for any club that is riding high in a league to then go and lose a game, especially to a team that, with all due respect to Peterborough, are lower down the league tables than we are. So I think it's still an opportunity to go and, hopefully give some fringe players some minutes and come away with the win. I'm not so bothered about an elongated cup run, but for me, if we were playing Stoke away and we went and lost 1-0, I wouldn't really be that bothered. But I still think the momentum, the dampener that can kind of be created by losing to a League One opposition wouldn't be great for us. So I still want us to go and win the game, but ultimately, if we don't, it's not the end of the world. I do think we'll see a lot of change. I think there'll be some serious changes for the game. Coming to outgoings and ingoings, I don't know if you were going to talk about it in more depth, but I don't know why Steve's talking about potentials for going into town. I said it to you on the review the other day. I don't know why Charlie Cresswell's not been an option to stay local at Huddersfield or a Rotherham. I think he'd be a great acquisition for either of them. Gives him good championship experience where he's going to be defending a lot. Towards the bottom of the league, he's going to be defending a lot, and I just think it keeps him in and around the club, and he don't have to move and all the rest of it, because these leagues.
Jason, you're supposed to recruit for Leeds, not.
Works both ways, mate. Works both ways.
Fair enough.
I'm more thinking about his future because, for me, I don't see a Southampton or an Ipswich or a Middlesbrough, who is being rumoured to be going to, signing him on loan. I think he'll end up going out permanently. And the figures, you're talking 3-4 million quid. It just seems like a wasted opportunity for us. 6 months after he signed a 5-year deal. So I don't get it. And I would say the same for Cooper and Ayling. I think Cooper and Ayling would be a great acquisition for someone down towards the bottom of the championship. But I think both are going to get pretty decent moves by the sound of it. Cooper looks like he's going to Stoke, and Ayling going to Middlesbrough's a wild one. I don't get it, but yeah.
I think for you guys as well, probably aimed at both of you. I think one positive you can probably take out of your fourth, fifth, which is steady. It's probably roundabout where you expect to be, so that's fine. But I think the major positive is Farke's recruitment's been pretty good, hasn't it, so far?
Yeah.
And I think that can fill you with a bit of confidence in this January transfer window where you've got 4 weeks to play with. He's probably got a bit of pot of money to spend. He might be getting rid of some of, like you said, Violgard, and I think he's in a good place at the moment. I don't know, what do you guys think in terms of that recruitment side and how successful he's been so far?
I agree completely, Lewis. I said to Brownie on the review the other day, because he was asking me about Somerville. He's linked with the Premier League, Villa and Newcastle are coming in for him. And I think the one thing that we can have confidence in with the way that the club's running under the 49ers, and Nick Hammond especially, is that we won't be taken for fools. We've already seen that they're prepared to reject £25-30 million for Gio Rutter in the summer before we knew how good he even could really be. We didn't know how he was going to come out this season, and we were still prepared to say to Dortmund, no, we're not interested, we're not selling him. And we did the same for Nonto. We stood on to the point where he handed in a transfer request and he had to kind of back down and come back into the squad. So for me, if anybody like Somerville leaves, they will leave for 30, 35, 40 million quid. We'll get the right money for him. They'll overpay. Clubs will even overpay if they want them that much. And I think same goes for the incomings. We've not seen a single poor piece of recruitment yet. Even the players that have not made a massive impact on the first team, like Gruev, maybe even Carl Darlow, they're still making strong parts of the squad. And it's important to have that squad, and hopefully we'll get to see the best out of them. So I've got full confidence that the club will get it right in January. Full confidence, and we won't wait until the end. I reckon these deals will be done quickly. I think the recruitment of the centre-back to replace Cooper is going to be done within the next couple of days. It may even be in time for Peterborough, from what I'm hearing, the lad from Hammarby. So, yeah, full confidence, mate. I don't know what you think, Brownie. But
yeah, no, I'd agree with that. Yeah, I think the recruitment's been very good, and long may it continue, because it's certainly been an issue we've struggled with in the past. So dropping down a couple of divisions, Gaz, going to bring you into it now. It was a narrow defeat against Crewe. I think that was their only on-target shot, the penalty. Obviously, it's ended the unbeaten run as well, but I'm guessing, although we've not spoken for a few weeks, still so much to be positive about with Graham Alexander at the club.
Personally, I think so. Yeah. Obviously, we were 7 or else 8 unbeaten. We won 4 in the league, and we won 2 in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, and then we drew home to can't remember what was first. No, it was Morecambe. Drew at home to Morecambe on Boxing Day 2-2, having been 2-0 down at half time. Graham Alexander said that first 45 minutes was our only poor performance over the Christmas period. And then we played Stockport on the Friday in between Christmas and New Year and drew 0-0. That was horrendous conditions to play football in. Everyone thought the game was going to be off. Somehow they managed to get it on. And you were kind of like waiting all game for a mistake to decide it, to be honest. And everyone concentrated. Everyone put a shift in on both sides. And we matched them, really. I think Cook forced the only decent save of the game from the Stockport keeper. Don't remember Lewis having anything to do. Finished 0-0. And then, we went to Crewe on New Year's Day. Obviously, Bradford fans start moaning at the slightest little thing, and they're moaning about the style of football. We've lost 1 game in 8. Do you know what I mean? And it's a little bit like just gives it. I watched all the games over Christmas and New Year. I'd agree with Alexander that the first 45 minutes against Morecambe were the only bad performance. Crewe, we were the better team. We don't play great football, but we knew that with Graham Alexander. It's very pragmatic, very direct, and it's worked for us over the last 7 or 8 games. So he's going to carry it on. We hit the bar. We had a goal disallowed. Far more chances than Crewe, who scored with their only shot, like you say, which was a pen. So, I'm not downhearted. I think Graham Alexander said afterwards he'd have been disappointed if we'd drawn that game, which is fair, I think, given the chances we had. It was going to come to an end eventually. Players looked a bit tired. We've got a few players missing as well, so not a disaster.
He got FM, didn't he? I think that's the official term. He got FM, didn't he, really? Dominated.
It feels like it, yeah. Just one mistake at the back, and he got through and got a pen, and the guy, Chris Long, who won the pen, scored the pen. But I feel we just need to bounce back as soon as we can, and hopefully we will do.
Yeah, good stuff. Transfer window open. Jake Young recalled from Swindon. What are you expecting to happen going forward? And how do you think Jake Young's going to fit into it coming back into the team?
Is he going to get that chance? Sorry to interrupt, but I remember we spoke, guys, didn't we, a couple of weeks ago about the Jake Young situation. And we're like, surely if he comes back, he's going to play some games. But then I think it was Steve Downs that shared that article the other day about Portsmouth being linked with him. Is he actually going to get time to get a crack, or is he going to be sold on before he knows it, really?
Honest answer, I don't know. Graham Alexander was asked about it, obviously, because it broke before his last interview that Young was being recalled. And he said that he's bringing him back with the intention of integrating him into the squad. But then he was later asked about bids from other teams and said every player's got a price. So he's kind of edging his bets, isn't he? You'd be silly if you rejected big money for him, but on the flip side of that, the club have got to be careful because fans are going to want him back and want him in the team. We spoke last time about, if you've got Cook and Young up front, you've got 2 20-goal season strikers up front in League Two, if they can work together. So it's a tricky one for the club. I don't know what they'll decide to do. I would imagine that if I was to guess, they'll have a price in mind, and if that price is met, he'll go. But if it's not, he'll stay. That's the way I'm looking at it.
That article was like, what, 300 grand, I think was the rumoured. And again, nothing ever comes out in the end. Everything's undisclosed, but it was rumoured like 300 grand. It's not bad.
Bradford are the only club that I know that sell the players that they don't want upwards. I don't get how it works.
It's mad.
It's just because we're so bad at recruitment, Jay. That's what it is.
What you need is
terrible at recruitment. You've got to at Leeds getting it right. We've got it wrong for years. So that's why. I don't know, 300k. He's got the rest of this season and next season. So he's got 18 months left on his deal. I'm not sure whether he's got an option for another year after that. I read somewhere that he does. So he could technically have 2.5. He's either got 18 months or 2.5 years left. So you're going to get a decent fee from him if he does go. But then again, you look at his career and he's only really done it at Swindon. I'd love to see him come back and work with Cook and be banging him in. I'd love it.
But to say it shouldn't work. There's nothing you look at and think, because we talked about, I think at the time, Tyler Smith was the kind of little man to Cook's big man who was getting goals and getting the games. There's, like, on the face of it, I mean, I know it's very easy to say it, sat where we are, but there's nothing to say that shouldn't work if you just put Jake Young in the place of Tyler Smith, and he should get the goals. I mean, Christ, between you at Bradford and MK Dons, you have crippled Swindon's season because they've recalled Dan Kemper as well. So I think they've lost their 2 best players this season, Swindon.
And you can see how highly thought of they were at Swindon, because they've done montages on Twitter of both been Player of the Year. They've only been there 6 months.
I was just going to say that, guys.
On Twitter about them leaving. Sorry?
I was just going to say that. That's just as embarrassing as what Ard Avenue video montage of our academy keeper leaving, as it was Swindon announcing Jake Young leaving. It was like, that's a classic football thing of don't fall in love with your loan players, but next minute was a montage and a video message of 3 minutes to his fans. We're all men of a certain age, but my word, I was baffled by that.
Yeah, I was as well. It's the same with Dan Kemp, apparently, as well, like Chris says. So, yeah, it's bizarre. We just need to, look at... I mean, he's not been prolific before he's gone to Swindon, but we need to look at whatever Michael Flynn's done with him at Swindon, if he comes back, and just try and replicate that.
Just this comment here from Paul saying Bradford need Jamie Walker back to play the Kemp, i.e. Swindon role for Jake Young, or a Doyle situation.
Yeah, City had a big problem with Doyle a few years ago in that we just didn't play to his strengths, and Richie Wellens did at Swindon, and he came back to us and we were just lumping the ball into the air towards him, and it just didn't work, and it was never going to work. And then fans turned against him and he was sold. But Jamie Walker's been a big miss. He got injured at Doncaster, a game that we won just before Christmas. He'd been playing really well, a bit deeper as one of the 8s rather than as a 10. He's had a shin injury, apparently. I don't think there's anything broken, but he could be out. He's wearing a protective boot, so he's obviously going to be out for a couple of weeks at least. But we need him back as soon as possible. Like I say, he's been our best player so far. Him and Gilliard have been the 8s with Smallwood as the 6, and it's worked well under Alexander. Regarding other transfers, I think it's going to be a case of getting players out. We've been quite open about that Alexander thinks the squad's too big. He wants to work with a lot smaller number of outfield players. Chisholm Folk has gone back to Aston Villa today, which were nailed on anyway because he was loaned that hadn't featured under Alexander. I think that Tulloch will be the same. He'll go back to West Brom. He's not featured under Alexander. But there'll be other players leaving too. You look at Chapman, he's not featured at all. He's going to be a big earner, and he's not featured at all under Alexander, really. I think he might have got a couple of minutes in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, and that's it. So he might go. Regarding incomings, I think we need to look at cover in a lot of areas. We don't have cover at fullback or wing back, and we don't really have cover for the two wide centre backs. There's rumours that Sam Stubbs is going to go as well, that he's not happy with being dropped and feels he's been scapegoated post the Notts County defeat. So he could go. But yeah, definitely more outgoings than incomings, I think, and then see what money we can free up to allow Alexander to bring some more in.
Stubbs would be a loss.
He would for me, Lou. I think he's our best centre half.
No,
But
he's a good player.
Alexander clearly doesn't think that. He's not featured under him at all. He's playing Platt in the middle of the three, Kelly on the left of the three, Tompkinson on the right, and he's using Taylor as the backup. So Stubbs isn't even making the bench. I think a lot of fans are baffled, but obviously that's Alexander's preference. And the rumour is that, like I say, he's not happy at being dropped. He thinks he's been scapegoated. You can't really blame him. And there'll be teams interested in him for sure, definitely at our level, if not in League One.
And you'll just get rid of Oliver to Swindon, because like you do, you get rid of all your strikers to Swindon and it's smashing 25 goals for the rest of the season, don't you? So,
I like the Dane Oliver. He gets a lot of stick, I think, because he's on big money. But he's perfect backup for Cook for me. He's been out for a long time, and we're just starting to get him back now. So we need to keep him for me.
Well, that's what we were saying, wasn't it? That if you keep 4 fit strikers in the form of Cook and Dane Oliver as your big men, and Young and Smith to be the men to play off him, there's 4 strikers there that you can rotate quite comfortably and be fairly content with at League Two level.
I think so. The 4 good options for League Two. Matty Derbyshire is the one who's been covered for Tyler Smith at the moment, and obviously he's not getting any younger. He's out of contract at the end of the year. He never looks great when he comes on. Probably past it. I wonder if he'll be shipped out, and especially if we do keep Young, you'd imagine Matty Derbyshire will be shipped out. So
He'll go off hot and sunny, won't it?
Say again, pal.
He'll go to some foreign climates for something hot and sunny or something. But I don't know.
Yeah, he was in Cyprus, wasn't he, before he came back? So
he'll end up in like the Spanish 4th division or something. Then just anywhere for a bit of sun.
Yeah, he's an experienced head who does what he does when he comes on, but he never really looks a goal threat. So obviously, if you're bringing Young back, you're probably going to let him go.
I mean, to be fair, if you need to offload a striker, Huddersfield will look in.
Fancy Matt Derbyshire, Steve?
It's fair, I think.
I think Steve's
falling asleep.
No. I remember once. Was it? He was at Rotherham, Matt Derbyshire.
He was, yeah.
I've never seen. It gives me nightmares thinking about the bloke. To be honest, like my mate was a Rotherham fan, and he used to tell all the time how good he was. And I unfortunately I had to say to him at one point, do you actually know? Have you got eyes? Do you actually know what a footballer looks like? Because Matt Derbyshire definitely isn't one. He's done very well in his career for being a footballer, I can assure you.
And now he's 5 or 10 years older than he was then. So
I know. They were in his prime back then.
Just to add cherry on top of the cake for you, Steve, you do know Mark Hughes is now vacant as well.
Oh, honestly, Lou, if
It's
don't
not been mentioned.
Comeback is on.
Steve's dreams will be realised if I not my dreams, the other Steve.
What's odds on Mark Hughes rocking up at Salford?
Salford.
That's going quite like that.
I just thought that makes all sense.
Well, someone's saying Rooney.
The thing is right. The thing is right. Like I know we've gone off topic here though, but Rooney's going to have a serious look at himself now, because what is his options?
We won't see him back in this country. That's it. He's done.
He's been embarrassed, hasn't he? Really, if we're being honest.
Rooney will go to Saudi.
Yeah, I agree with the comment coming through here. Hughes won't work again. Yeah, we said last year when he it was looking like he was going to get sacked from City, and we kept saying, what is his options after he gets sacked from City? Where can he go? I mean, I'll be amazed if he works in the Football League again. I'll tell
you where he went, Steve. He went on holiday and topped up his tan.
Yeah, well, yeah. I meant work-wise. He wasn't working topping up his tan, was he?
I've got one random question for Steve Downs that I don't know why I didn't think of it when we were talking Huddersfield earlier, actually. In terms of you as strikers, Jordan Rhodes.
Yeah.
Any chance that because he's done all right at Blackpool, only in League One. Is he an easy option to recall him and to try and get you some goal? I'll be honest, I was asking because like my cousin's partner is a Blackpool fan, and frankly, he's dreading that Huddersfield might recall him because of how well he's doing at Blackpool.
I'd have him back. I'd seriously have him back, but I just can't see. I can't see Darren wanting to do that. I don't think Mark Cartwright, who's our director of football, I don't think he's in a rush to have him back either. So no, I don't. I think you can tell your cousin he'll be staying on. He'll be able to eat his fish and chips in peace.
Keep another montage video of somebody leaving on loan.
It was just mentioning Matt Derbyshire that made me think of aging strikers, which made me think of Jordan Rhodes. So there we
go. Yeah. I think they're looking to add new blood really, rather than bring somebody back. We've still got Danny Ward on the injury table, so yeah, it's positive. We put it this way: if we sign these 2 players tomorrow, we will have signed half the players in 100+ hours of this transfer window than we did in the entire summer of last window.
Not that Steve's counting.
No, I'm honestly looking at my watch right now, ticking the minutes down.
Well, obviously, we've got loads of players we're trying to ship out, Steve. So just get on the phone to Graham Alexander.
Gaz, send us some your way. I can't believe, Gaz, that you're saying that some City fans are not booing, but not happy with him. Like the guy, I'm telling you now, the guy will eventually get you out of that league.
It's an incredibly small minority, and it was just a few whinges after one defeat about the style of play.
Well,
nobody's taking it seriously.
Well, they're idiots. I'll say it now.
I remember me and Brownie being in the COP against Shrewsbury in pre-season. Not in pre-season. The first cup game was like the second game of the season for Daniel Farker, and the amount of moans and groans when the ball just wasn't getting lumped up front, and that were after years of watching Bielsa play the beautiful football that we'd seen, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. It's just fans, isn't it, Gaz?
Yeah, you get them everywhere, don't you?
Yeah,
people just moan after a defeat.
No, listen, we get them at town, but we justifiably have complained about the last 3 out of 4 managers, if I'm being totally honest. So we've had a justifiable experience, but yeah, I can't believe that, Gaz.
That was a Scottish genius. I don't know what you're.
I like Alexander. I think.
Don't get me started on that.
Don't push his scaffolding.
I like Alexander. I think most have been positively surprised with what he's done so far, and I hope he continues for a while yet, because things are looking up for me.
Yeah.
I'm glad they are for you. I'm glad they are. Me and Lou will have to have a meet up sometime and just see who's the most depressed. I think.
See you next season in League One.
Yeah. Chris can join us actually, because Chris's Lincoln's not doing very well. So
Scoops, what's going on?
I know.
It's not. He's struggling. I did see a graphic earlier. I'm not sure exactly where the graphic came from. It was shared to a Lincoln group. But Lincoln currently do have the most injuries in the entire 92 or players unavailable.
That's rubbish. That's rubbish.
It's not.
It is. Have you seen our squad, Chris? We've got 12-year-olds playing for us right now.
Yeah,
that's just the lack of depth.
Yeah, that's the lack of depth. Yeah.
No, that's because they're all bloody injured.
So yeah, Lincoln have got a hell of a lot of injuries. We haven't had a recognised striker for a few games. It's one of those. Whilst the style of play is getting a lot of people groaning under Scoobs, he hasn't been blessed with a fully fit squad yet. So time will tell. I'll give him the window before I fully say where it's going to go. But
just briefly, what is the style of play? What is he trying to do? Or?
I mean, I'll be honest, he's trying to do what everybody else is trying to do, which is play it around from the back and stuff. And then you get the same moan and groans everywhere else about not getting the ball forward quickly enough. But I say he's working with his downside, because when you've got like wingers playing up front that don't have any kind of finishing prowess, it's not easy. So yeah, we'll see what the window brings and kind of judge it from there. But I mean, me and Lewis, to be fair, we went to the game for Lincoln at Derby just before Christmas, and a lot of the build-up play actually wasn't too bad, but there was just sweet sod all in the final third. Lewis can testify for this.
You're right. Yeah, I don't know what else to add to that, but yeah, you were right. But in all honesty, we're against Derby. We're a good team, aren't we?
Yeah.
But they just had a bit of quality, didn't they, up in the final third, did Derby? But I think one thing I will say is that the fans do seem to be behind him.
That was 4
listen, the
games
situation
ago.
might have changed probably since that Derby game, but they seem to be, pretty vocal behind him, which was encouraging. I think they probably recognise that they're not going to be challenging like to Derby. It's that conversation that we had during the game and kind of after the game. It's where do you guys expect to be at the end of the season? Is mid-table fine, or are you challenging for the playoffs? And I think probably looking at where you're going to be, it's going to be mid-table.
Yeah, this is the thing. I think we were about 4 points off the playoffs before that game, and we haven't won at all in December or on New Year's Day. I think we're now, 11 points off the playoffs. So it's been quite a slide in December, but yeah, we'll see what January brings in. Maybe there'll be some good news for Skabala after the window.
I'd just like to say, welcome everybody to the Lincolnshire Football Show. Jay's now going to talk a little bit about the tactical genius of Grimsby Town, and later Gaz will take us on a tour around Scunthorpe.
Gaz gave me the perfect intro for Lincoln, because just like Bradford City, if the second half of the season goes well, I will also look forward to playing Huddersfield in League One next season. So it's okay.
Whoa, hang on. Whoa, there was no need to throw shade my way, pal. I've thrown none your way. I have to obligatory give it to Jay when Jay talks rubbish in our chat, but I don't need to concentrate on you right now.
I would relish Lincoln having away trips to the John Smiths and to Valley Parade next season. It'd be great.
Well, that's great. That's great, mate. Hopefully, it'll never happen.
If you've got a club in the final third, you've got Matty Derbyshire there ready to bring in. So,
my God, Gaz, like the fact that you're mentioning Matt Derbyshire so many times in this podcast, I should have got your T-shirt with Matt Derbyshire's #1 fan on. To be honest,
when you get relegated, he's going to follow Mark Hughes in, isn't he? That's what's going to happen in League One.
I can't wait to play Bradford Park Avenue. We'll miss Lincoln and Bradford out. Let's get back down to Avenue. We have
I just heard that oven tick because Steve's tea's ready. Yeah,
That's weird. I was just about to say, I'm surprised Steve stuck around so long and hasn't had to go for his tea yet.
I am in 10 minutes, so hurry up, boys.
Well, let's talk Bradford Park Avenue then. Lewis, New Year's Day defeat against Guiseley. Were you gentlemen? Chris, you and Lewis, were you at the game?
I
was the Guiseley Park Avenue game.
Yeah, I was planning on being so, and then ended up over at Rochdale versus Fylde. Now, there's an injury crisis. But anyway, let's not digress again. How was it, Lou? How was it?
Well, guys of a better team deserve to win. I think we could still be playing today at Avenue, and we still don't think we'd score. He's got a lot of work to do as Whittaker. A lot of work to do. He needs his players in quickly, and he needs to get some out. Because it ain't looking good.
Yeah, I saw Gareth's message on the website about 2024 should be better.
Yeah.
What did you make of that? Yeah, it should be better. I mean, wow.
It can't be much worse.
What needs to happen? Because, I mean, obviously you talked about they've got to back Whittaker, they've got to give him the resources, but do you see it happening, Lou?
Well, they didn't give it to Mark and Danny before, so is that going to be any different for Danny? I'm not too sure, but Danny Whittaker's come with a bit of football pedigree at a level that people know of him. We've probably got half decent contacts, probably more around the northwest than Yorkshire, so that'll be interesting to see. He's already recruiting players from that area. I think he's got a massive job, and I don't know the guy. I've not even spoken to him yet. I don't know if he may have underestimated the size of the task ahead, because it's a big job. It's a full-time job overseeing both the first team and looking after the academy. The board have now come out saying the prime objective is to improve performances and push up the table. Well, that is not even that should be a given. That shouldn't even have to be called out. But after recent games, he's in for a tough job. He's already his last 3 games. Look, they've conceded 7 goals in 3 games and not scored any. And like I say, we didn't even trouble Ollie Batters being the guy's the goal. But he's got to be given something. And I know people may disagree with this who were watching and listening to this, but he's got to be given something, maybe a bit more than what Mark and Danny were given, because it's like you put ourselves in a situation where if you get a new job, I mean, speaking of Jay, for instance, you go into a new job, you may be given a budget, you may be given something a little bit different to work with. You look around the building and you think, right, I like that bit, I can change this bit, I don't like that bit, we can move stuff out. He's got to be allowed to do that, and he's got to have resources to do it, because otherwise we might as well pack the bags and go home and shut the club because he needs something to work with, and he needs it as soon as possible because, I mean, we don't even know the situation at Mask at the moment, which is a terrible situation to be in. But, if that does, the worst case scenario comes to fruition, that might mean that the 3 points we've got early in the season are wiped off the table as well, which puts us in even further trouble. The gap's getting bigger above us. And I think, do I think he's going to get his own players in? Yes, I do. I expect probably another 1 or 2 in ahead of the weekend. Do I expect some players to leave? Yeah. And will I be disappointed? Probably not, because we've not achieved anything the past 4 or 5 years. Like I said previously, it needs to be reset, does that club, and change the start. It's needed it. Like, yeah, massively, mate. But this has been the case for 6-7 years, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think, like I say, Tom McTravick's probably given the club and the fans maybe a bit of glimmer of hope getting somebody like Whittaker in. I don't know if he was one of those people that was originally shortlisted. We've wasted potentially 3-4 weeks of interviews, maybe. I don't know. All of a sudden, Tom's got his promotion. Danny Whittaker's in within a space of, a week? And like I say, unfortunately, that win against Macclesfield is one of those, kind of one-off results that you might get during the season. I think he's got a lot of work to do, and I think he'll be looking at thinking I've probably got a bit more work to do than what I thought, because that team is at the moment is going down. And Guiseley, looking at Guiseley from a West Yorkshire perspective, first half were decent. I thought they played some decent football. Did Guiseley? Looked solid, looked organised, without being spectacular, but just really effective. Second half, they did drop the pace a bit. Both teams were very average. But Guiseley just did enough. And I felt that Guiseley probably had another couple of gears to step up if they really needed to. And I think that's the difference. Guiseley could have done that. And we were pushing and had a lot of possession without doing anything with it in front of goal. So arguably, you look at Avenue's team, you could change every department probably of that squad at the moment. We've got players potentially leaving in terms of loans. We've got Connor Shanks coming up at the end of his loan. We've got Tom Scott in goal at Halifax coming up to end of his loan as well. So I'd say in the next 3-4 weeks, that Avenue team's going to look very different. It depends on the quality, and like you said, Brian, if the resources are given to change that squad around.
That's going to be really hard to check for him, isn't it? Because when you think of Danny Whittaker, obviously he was an absolute club legend in Macclesfield, and it was that kind of legendary status there that got him the job when they were obviously kind of reformed, so to speak, and coming back up. But he also had a stupid budget for the level. Like, he's used to being able to spend, for non-league football, big amounts of money. That's going to be the shock, surely, and the reality check for him, that he doesn't have anywhere near what he would have had as Macclesfield manager, even though Macclesfield were a couple of leagues below wherever you are now. Yeah,
100%. And I think we can talk about every football club in this situation, but the club struggling at the wrong end of the table, and you want to sign some good players, those good players are usually at clubs who are doing well in their league and don't really want to leave in January because they've got a chance of promotion or doing something with the season and adding it to the cabinet at the end of the year. So would you want to leave at the moment? Let's be honest. Would you want to leave the guys and come to Avenue? No, you probably wouldn't. And the only reason why you're going to do that is if you throw a little bit of money at it, which is a crazy thing to say at this level. But it actually, that is the case. You're going to have to entice them somehow to make that move. And Gareth's got to pull his wallet out of that pocket and give that money where he can do, or it's got to come from somewhere, whether it's another investor or commercial or whatever that looks like, because the development fund is paid for quite a bit this year. That's not to be decided by those who put the money in, but that's a very finite amount of money, like Gareth's is as well. But I'm guessing Gareth's back pocket's probably bigger than that development fund. And when you're the owner, you're going to get scrutinised for that. So listen, there's so much unhappiness, and I do feel sorry for Whittaker coming into this situation because, there's a lot of fans who are very disillusioned with things at the moment, and he hasn't got the players to, at the moment, probably change what he wants. People were even questioning some of his substitutions where he left it a little bit late. He probably did in some respects on Saturday, which any chink in the armour for people will look at and go, ooh, is he a bit hesitant to make substitutions? Has he got, why is he not making his sub when he could have done it 20 minutes before? So, yeah, he hasn't got the time to learn on the job. Unfortunately, he needs results. And, we've got teams coming up. who are very tough to face, and we've got to be getting at least a point, say on Saturday against Morpeth, and almost try and close some gap, because the likes of Baseford, the likes of Stafford, Atherton are picking up the odd results, and Avenue aren't at the moment.
Yeah. From a Guiseley perspective, they're sitting in 8th at the moment. I mean, are they happy with their season at the moment, would you say? Are they on course for what they wanted at the start, would you say? Or
I'd say so. I think looking at them on Saturday and a couple of times I've seen them during the season, they look strong, look organised. They kind of, to use Whittaker's phrase, we're in it together. We're all in. And they seem to have a bit of a good cohesion about them. He's added a couple of new fresh faces. One he's worked with at Bury as well, who made a significant difference to the pace down the wing. So Guiseley are in a good position at the moment. New manager, got his connections, got a strong enough team. They've potentially got people who, worst case scenario, they do sell on, but they could get a little bit of money for and reinvest in the squad. I think Guiseley are in a good position. Do I think they'll make the playoffs? They're going to be thereabouts. I think they probably need to add maybe 2 quality players to stand a real chance of getting in playoffs. But I'd say they were one of the better teams, especially in that first half, to come to the Horsefall. And I think Andy Welsh is got, he's got still a bit of work to do to get probably the team that he really wants. And I don't think he'll probably get it for the rest of the season. But I think going into next season, they'll be looking to kind of just cement themselves and maybe make a bigger push next season.
Yeah, just looking at a division above as well, Farsley Celtic, who look pretty comfortable at the moment, sat there in 15th.
Yeah, it's a crazy league, really crazy league. And I think Farsley will do reasonably well to probably stay up, but they've picked up a couple of, dodgy results recently after not a bad run. I mean, Steve, you were there against Scunthorpe. You can probably tell us a bit more about that game. Apparently, Scunthorpe, you said, we're all over them, weren't we?
Yeah, so Scunny did well in the first half and got the goal. Don't know why. I mean, there was a massive sort of colourful, and with Danny White, is it Danny Whitehall, their striker, and Farsley's number 2, both got sent off. Whitehall was sent off for basically headbutting number 2, and number 2 sort of. It all happened anyway in the first half. Scunny got the goal. And then for the first 15, 20 minutes, Farsley absolutely came out honestly, I was really impressed with Farsley, to be honest. I mean, they played really well in the first 15, 20 minutes, and my mates who were Scunny fans, they were a little bit worried, really. And then Scunny managed to get back control of the game and got on top and eventually got the win, with Farsley having another man sent off. So it was a bit of a scare at one point for Scunthorpe. But, if Farsley keep playing like that, then they will get wins, definitely.
Yeah, I think it was Chris Atkinson that was the second man to get sent off.
Yeah.
I think I'm right in remembering. I think it was his 300th Farsley appearance.
Yeah, it was. They made a big thing of it, and then so to get sent off.
Sent off for 2 bookings.
Lewis was just transported to another room just whilst Steve was chatting there. We're just going to round things up. It's a shame. We need to get Mr. Shaman Stats Dave Foy on sometime to discuss what's happening with Halifax, because they're going along nicely. I think he's just submitting a confession to Fessolo at the minute, so it's unavailable, unfortunately. Hopefully next time we can get him on. I mean, they're going really well, aren't they? 7th in the league at the moment. Halifax. I mean, fantastic.
Some good results, haven't they, as well? Drew against Gateshead and drew against Rochdale, and beating Alty, sitting in the last position at the moment in the playoffs. And they don't look too bad at all to Halifax. And it will be interesting to hear from Dave probably a bit more about Halifax, because they just seem to just keep doing the right things, without being spectacular, without getting any big names, but they just seem to be doing a right good job there. And I think, again, it's, you've got Chesterfield who are running away with it. Nobody's really going to catch him, I don't think, at the moment. But I think apart from, would you say Halifax can get promoted? It'll take a playoff push. In a big effort, but they're capable of doing it, I think, if they just get the right personnel in place.
It is very, very tight, though, isn't it? Because Solihull Moors, who are 4th, are on 43 points. Then you go all the way down to realistically Eastleigh in 11th on 37. And it's when it's down to 7 for those playoff places, it's anyone's kind of crack, really. Well, it takes a good run between now and the end of the season. You can cement a place in there.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Chesterfield are probably the ones that are standing out. There's no Wrexhams and Notts County facing against each other. So, I think Halifax, if they just go along and doing what they're doing, I think they'll be happy. They'll be happy they've had an unbeaten festive period, which is a big plus for any team, isn't it? All us lads know when we go and watch our teams and know other clubs that, it's such an important time of year, isn't it, to not go on a losing run. So I think Halifax will be relatively pleased with where they are at the moment.
Good stuff. We're just about out of time. Predictions for the darts then. Let's go a little bit different. What do we think then, fellas?
I think 2 players will throw them at the board and there'll be some numbers.
I think Luke will win.
Wow.
And then
Luke will win.
the matching on together guy's going to win. That's what I'm going for. That's my knowledge of darts.
Yeah. Do you even know his surname?
Luke Humphreys.
There we go.
Nailed it.
Luke Littler to win for sure.
So Steve's going for Littler. Jay's going for Luke Humphreys. Lewis, what are you saying?
I'm going 7-5 Humphreys.
Gaz?
I think I'd like Littler to win. I think Humphreys will win. Not sure of the score.
Didn't hear any of that.
Again?
Again.
Yeah.
I'd like Littler to win, but I think Humphreys will win. I'm not sure of the score.
Didn't hear any of that.
Brownie?
I've got Humphreys. Come on. It's got to be.
To be fair,
MOT.
Lewis is right. I think Lewis is going to call it quite accurately. I think Littler will do all right, but watching Humphreys absolutely dismantle Scott Williams last night, 6-0. He's on great form, and so I hate to say it. As much as I would like to see Littler win it, because I think this story has been remarkable, and it's done a hell of a lot for the sport of darts as well in the last 3 weeks. You can't look beyond the new world number 1 in Luke Humphreys, really.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's just an amazing achievement. It
is unbelievable.
To be at any sort of pinnacle of a sport so young is impressive. But darts is a bit like golfing. The precision, the need to be able to keep your composure under pressure is so high. To be able to just walk up there and own that stage, I just think it's incredible. Fair play to them.
I think you're right. I think you're right with that, Jay. I think the biggest thing for me is that when you're a darts player, or even in some respects a golf, I know you've got a caddy, but these guys are up there by themselves, aren't they? We have a team of people behind them, but at 16 to have that mentality and attitude and just the absolute know-how to do what they want to do. I mean, you watch him and he's doing stuff that people who are 20, 30, 40 years are doing and still can't even do. It's scary. And, it's great. I think it's great for the world of darts. I hope he carries on doing what he's doing. I think it's a great story. But again, on the flip side, I'm a bit of a darts geek as well, and I like Humphreys for what he's done. He's gone through a lot in his past. Lost 4 stone, took a break away, and he's now reset himself and reborn and number 1. I mean, I just want to see a really good final. It would be amazing if you saw almost a Van Gerwen Smith, leg where both are going for 9 darters. That would be unbelievable. I just don't want it to be, a thrashing either way. I don't think that the sport at the moment deserves that, and the tournament definitely deserves it, because I think it's been one of the best ones ever.
Yeah.
Superb. Good stuff. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for your contribution this evening. Look forward to speaking again in the near future. If you've enjoyed the video, please do smash a like on it and subscribe to the channel for more content, and we'll be back again in the future.